Hi, everybody. Welcome to a live Dice Camera Action AMA, where we answer cool questions in a cool way and for the edification of all concerned.
Only cool questions, though. Sorry,
Right.
if you have an uncool question, it will not be answered.
So cool questions are questions that actually have to do with Dice Camera Action and, and our love for this wonderful game. I won't be answering any product questions or telling you what's coming in 2025. Although I know, I'm not gonna tell you.
Just so you know, I could, but I won't.
Save those for later.
So, Jared has set up a question dump on the Reddit.
Yes.
The Dice Camera Action Reddit. I have questions that have been gathered from the Twitterverse. And we will be also keeping an eye on the chat room to see if cool questions manifest spontaneously there.
I'm watching you chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you type a question in chat, type all caps question before it so that it is easily
So it
visible.
pops. There
And
you
then
go.
yeet afterwards.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeets may or may not add to the visibility.
And
chat questions are hard to get, but that's why
Yeah.
we'll have the subreddit thread. If you have like one that takes a little more words or setup in there.
Yes. And you might be wondering, why are we doing this now instead of a regularly scheduled game? Well, we could do a regularly scheduled game, but we just had our 99th episode last week, and we've got this big thing coming up this weekend, a Waffle Crew Acquisitions Incorporated C-Team crossover event, a 2-day Saturday-Sunday streaming extravaganza where the two parties will come together and be bestest friends and solve big problems in a way over the course of 5 different games. So it's a 5-part episode 100 extravaganza. So we can talk a little bit about that too. So one question that we got is on Twitter is, what has been everybody's favorite plot line in the show so far?
Ooh,
We have so many.
With a doozy.
There's so many, and so many that we haven't finished yet.
It's a good one to go to because we can start by sort of looking at the past and then moving toward the future.
Favorite one? I actually loved everything we did with Strahd and going back to Strahd, even though. But what I also like about that.
Glad you said that.
Okay.
For no reason.
Oh,
Because I was going to say, I know we're not done with Strahd yet.
Is it Strahd time
Oh,
yet?
hey.
Because I was, it's almost Strahd time about in this season.
Oh, you know what would be weird if the 100th episode features Strahd?
Oh no.
At a
You're
ball.
so right. He's totally doing that, isn't he? Gosh dang it.
We don't know. Look at his. Look how pleased he is with himself. Just
He's
look at
always
him.
pleased with himself.
Are you seeing this?
So that's it then? Everybody agrees? Strahd is the plot line of choice?
I really enjoyed that. I did really like the Ring of Winter one as well because we had that party rivalry that was really cool.
Yeah, that was great.
And I love the planar stuff, like anything when we get Planescape stuff, like bringing in all of the Mercy Killers and all of that, and that's just the ongoing mystery. So I love that too.
All right.
I have to shout out the whole ritual thing too. I mean, like, I've never ever in my life had something like performing art like that affect me so deeply. So
on our song afterwards too. I love
that whole range of episodes, that whole arc, just because there were so many pieces of it that were just like so creatively fulfilling, like getting completely rocked by the whole realization, having Evelyn just like really blossom to life in my head and like tell me all these things throughout the week, and like writing her will and those letters to the characters, and then like all the stuff with like Evelyn and Paulton that we didn't even talk about, and that like turned out really cool. And then like the song with Strix, so that whole arc was just like very creatively fulfilling for me, even though it was very traumatic.
I agree.
Are there any ideas or character things for your characters between when you sort of created them or invented them and actually playing them for a few episodes into the show? Like, were there any things that you thought were going to happen with your characters that didn't, or items that you thought would be important but weren't?
It kind of in a minor sense. Very early on in the show, Dieth was not so serious. He was meant to be like a little bit more kind of lighthearted and fun with the rest of the crew.
Just laughing.
But he just kind of slowly ended up being the responsible one, and he kind of morphed away from that and became much more of the kind of, maybe not quite stick up his ass, but much more serious, pragmatic person that he is now.
Yeah.
Also that, yeah. That's when the jokes stopped.
Forever.
Yes.
Oh, man. Yeah, I think you go first, Anna.
The germs thing was gonna be a much bigger thing for Evelyn, I thought, when I first started with like the cleanliness thing. But I just kind of like forgot about it. And it just turned into kind of a like fastidiousness.
Yep.
Yeah, for Strix, it was like, I don't know. I feel like at first I had no intention of her becoming a witch. I feel like she was just influenced so much by Barovia, and I ended up falling in love so much with Barovia and her as a character that she was like, this is fun. I want a broom. I want a hat. I'm a witch now. So.
Why is Simon so attached to Paulton when he spent 50 years with Strix and Waffles?
It's his daddy.
Right, yeah. Maybe he senses some, similarity. There's some sort of weird, like, bond there that formed.
Yeah, they were just roommates with Strix.
Right.
I mean, Waffles not. But
plus, likely if you
Simon
spent
was a
50
roommate.
years from Strix, you wouldn't end up loving her more.
Wow.
I don't know. She's lovable.
I think so.
Chris.
Yeah, I know. I'm just being cruel.
As he does.
For Nate, this is a Nate question. What was with that comment from Paulton last night of, quote, I'm only technically human?
I was going to ask that too, actually.
And you can choose not to answer if you've got, secrets.
Yeah, that whole like mysterious bond thing.
It was I don't know. It's just I think between, man, it's hard to say. I just think everything that Waffle Crew and him have gone through, like at a certain point, it's like I think I saw it as like you only die so many times before you're just like, well, it doesn't feel human to like be to be back this much. And I don't know, I feel like everything that's just happened is just like like, because then he followed it up in with Werblin, and because Werblin really doesn't like humans, so he didn't like Paulton, and then he just replies is like, I'm more fucked up than human, so I think that's probably what he's getting at.
And we can all lose our humanity too.
Cool. I did for a while.
So did Evelyn.
Me too.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Go figure.
I have a question for Chris from chat. Chris, does Warrington Mutt live in the house?
He's just there and we just don't talk to him.
He does not.
If he were there, you would know it. He is the center of his own universe. So when last we left Warrington Munt, he went off on a shopping expedition with Magnus, and Magnus kind of ditched him. So he's still out there somewhere in Waterdeep, this gigantic hippo man looking for firearms.
I know. I've got a question from the subreddit.
And as far as I know, the Waffle Crew never left a message at the Yawning Portal or anywhere else telling him where to find them.
Of course not. Wonder whose fault that was.
Well, he won't be hard to find. So from the subreddit, Deadpool938 asks, what moment made you guys laugh the most?
Oh, there have been so many.
Yeah, that one's hard because there's been a lot of funny moments. I forget when, but there's a couple where I know we made Chris just absolutely lose his shit.
I was going to say when Chris laughs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's been so many where I like snorted on stream, and I feel like I should remember them.
I feel like there was one where we just all broke, and I don't remember what episode that was, but I definitely remember all of us just like cracking up.
It's probably something Nate said, for example, half crying.
Yeah.
Or when-
Yeah, half crying.
Yeah, or when you said, when Chris said, no, she starts crying. No, she doesn't.
Oh, that was a good one too.
And that was like a laugh cry. It was like,
It's like, it's funny because she can't cry.
Yeah. Yeah, they were all a little bit of like Schadenfreude, I think.
yeah.
Yeah. I got to admit, there are sometimes when I go into a session, I think, oh, this has the potential to be a super funny one. And usually those go left or right at some point and they stop. So the Simon Says episode from last season was one of those. I thought it was going to be a lighthearted romp where Simon learns how to talk. And he's going to just basically tell dad jokes for the entire episode. Well, that only lasted until Strix blew him up, and then things kind of went angular from there. But it was funny while it lasted.
Oh yeah.
Someone says they-
hilarious 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I like
It was only 10 minutes.
I like situational comedy.
Someone suggested that we all lost it on alternate fact spot.
Oh, yeah.
Forgot about
I
that.
forgot about that. That's so cool.
Wow.
Oh, we are so smart sometimes. How much time do I spend prepping for the session, for the next session? Well, I always think about the game. I'm always, always, always thinking about the game, even when I shouldn't be, and I should be thinking about other things. I'm thinking about the game. So my mind is constantly racing with scenarios of what ifs. What if this were to happen, or what if that were to happen? The actual amount of time I spend preparing for the game is actually pretty small. I put together a little reminder sheet for myself of what the episode is called. I list characters that I think are going to appear, and sometimes I'll make 1 or 2 bullet points of stuff that I expect will happen early on, and that's it. That comes a lot from the fact that since I'm basically tying our show into the products that we release, a lot of the heavy lifting has been done. So this Waterdeep season that we're in now is aided by the fact that I just spent, 2 years ago, I worked on a Waterdeep book that's just coming out now, and I can use a lot of that material to sort of flesh out the game.
I have a good one from Savvy Guy in chat. Are there any spells or class abilities that you're all looking forward to at your future levels? I know Holly has one.
Yeah, because Strix gets wings at level, what, 14?
14,
Yeah. I mean, they're like summonable wings. They're not like...
right.
you can have them as long as you want. They can just hang out.
Will they be practical wings, like that she can actually fly with? Because, will that then make her staff irrelevant?
I know. I mean, to be totally honest, I feel like at some point...
Like, is that good for her branding?
Right. I feel like at some point that her staff is going to break because nice things are taken away from us.
That is true.
Look, that's like
So-
level 14. That's 8 seasons from now.
Yeah, that's ages from now. But I mean, I think she could fly with them because it's cool. Like, she can still hold her staff, like, while she flies. That actually looked pretty badass. But I don't know what kind of wings she's going to have because you can either have celestial wings or bat wings. I want you to come up with that, Chris.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to decide. I want to be
I heard in
surprised.
your D&D Beyond interview it might be pigeon wings.
No. Dirty trash pigeon wings.
Yeah, that would be perfect, I think.
Something that
that's fair.
something that Dieth gets I'm looking forward to is that eventually he gets the ability to make it so that any skill roll he ever does will be a minimum 10.
What?
So if he rolls a 1 through
How?
9, it counts as a 10 instead. So at some point, Dieth will
Jesus.
just be good at everything he does. So
Is that your long con?
I mean, so long as like the few, and by everything I mean like the few things that he's actually good at, like picking locks or acrobatics. So eventually, at some point, I'll stop failing at those and embarrassing myself. I'm looking forward to that.
I am looking forward to Find Greater Steed, which I tried to convince Chris
Yeah.
to give me early, and he did in heaven, and then took it away.
I totally agree. In all 30th level. Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a 6th level spell I've had my eye on since day 1, which is mass suggestion.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know about that one.
It's gonna be
a concert.
It's literally just suggestion, but targets up to 12 people.
Oh my god.
which is crazy.
So it's really just like, leave. Like, all right, we should go.
I'm also looking forward to when we level up. Maybe Paulton and Strix could like talk about it, so instead of trying to fight each other.
Maybe.
Oh yeah,
Maybe.
because
Yeah.
you both have animate object now, which is kind of
And
funny.
counterspell.
And counterspell. Yeah.
And all because Paulton was going to fight Strix.
That is true.
Yeah, that's true.
That's right.
That's true. Oh, right. I don't know if I've like said that outside of like us talking, but yeah, like leveling up Paulton during when he got what's the thing where he gets spells from like whatever and not just like bard
Oh,
spells.
yeah.
His college of whatever?
Yeah.
Or
No,
not the college.
Something with secrets. But basically, I was just like, all right, cool. Well, I'm leveling up and I get whatever spells. So how do I kill Strix? Because I assess Strix as the biggest threat. So it's just like, okay, counterspell, stop the magic, and banishment to just
Yep.
get her out of here.
Yep.
So
No, that's so
You're not
mean.
wrong.
Now I have those and they're great. I love
Yep.
them so much.
And thanks to your animate object spell, you now have an animated Strahd chair that you can ride around in.
That
All
I
right.
can.
It's not the best ride, but you know.
Or used to trap Van Richten too.
Yes. If you had to swap characters for one episode, who would you play and why?
Huh.
That's hard.
It is. I think I would want to play Paulton.
I was gonna say I think I'd want to play Dieth.
Aw.
Oh,
That's yeah, because Paulton is for one being so opposite of Dieth, and because all of his abilities isn't so much like direct damage or explosions or whatever. It's more like fuck with people. I think that would be super fun to do.
Yeah, and I had always like played rogues and stuff before Paulton, so that's just what I'm second most familiar with.
what are your favorite ships and pairings?
Nope.
All of them. Asher X Paulton.
That one's good.
Paulton X most people, really.
Yeah.
Uh,
One of my favorite things that's evolving in this season is Paulton's reaction to all the Evelyn shipping going on.
oh yeah, freaking Evelyn getting all the honeys.
Yeah,
She doesn't have to do anything.
Finally, people appreciate me.
it's true.
My monitor's turned off and I don't know why, so I had to fix it. Everything went dark.
Oh, no.
It's back now.
Okay.
Bag of Nails X Klauth. Oof.
Oh my god.
Ooh, yeah.
Someone from the chat. Oh yeah, the one guy at ChairCon who's all over Paulton.
Oh yeah, that's good. I was
We
gonna
were
say
talking
Bag of
about
Nails
this
X
earlier, but
ship.
what kind of Pokemon would each of the crew use?
Hannah's dead.
For Dieth, it would probably be probably something like Ninjask or Scyther.
I think Strix would be the Miss Magia, the little kitty witch.
Evelyn would choose Pokemon completely based on how cute they are. So-
Right?
She would have like Eevee and like any horse, like Ponyta and stuff.
Oh my god, yeah, she totally a Ponyta.
Fire horse.
Yeah.
I think Paulton would probably be a fan of Zapdos between the thunder waving and also I feel like he would be Team Instinct. So just like a walking meme.
So not the Ice Bird. Interesting.
Oh yeah. Interesting.
What is
Thunderbird.
Dieth's, what is
Now,
Dieth's
maybe.
deal with cages?
Oh man, maybe we'll
Ooh.
find out someday.
Ooh.
There we go.
He sure hasn't told any of
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, that sure seems to be a reoccurring theme. It sure seems to make him lose his composure at times.
Strange.
What would Paulton do if Omendron confesses his love to Evelyn?
Suggest that he doesn't.
So like, no, you don't. I don't know.
I guess we'll have to see.
Will D and Bag of Nails ever return? That's a very good question. So, Erica, one of our all-time favorite people, plays D, and we tried to get her back periodically, but she has a conflict with our show, and it's an ongoing thing. So, she and I have spoken at length offline about possibilities of bringing her back as opportunity allows. But obviously, we'd love to have her back.
So you're saying she's not dead?
I'm saying that I would bring Erica
the
back
player.
into our game to play something. Maybe D or maybe a D-like thing. And ditto for, I'm always happy to bring back guest stars whose characters are still alive, and sometimes even if the characters aren't still alive, and as opportunity and narrative dictates. So last we saw Bag of Nails, he had stolen the Acquisitions Inc. battle balloon. He is still out there in that battle balloon as far as we know with the Jim Dark Magic clone. So stay tuned.
Makes me
Stay
so
tuned.
happy. That just all this time,
Yeah.
just
Oh,
chasing this
why do I
thing.
feel like that's
Yeah.
a problem that's
On
gonna
the Acquisitions
come
Inc.
up?
ship. That makes me so happy.
Yes. So
That's a problem that's going to come up
Yes.
later.
But actually scheduling a game around that is it's trickier than you think.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've sort of already answered that one. Will the crew ever see Dragon Bait and Baby Dino again?
We were going to do something nice for Dragon Bait for the record.
Oh, yeah?
We talked about that outside of the show, where it's like, he's been so nice and gentle and
Yeah.
helpful. We should get him something nice. Let's do something nice for Dragon Bait.
And then we were gone.
And then Chris Perkins took that away.
What?
We could still send him a letter. I have one from the chat. Oh, let's see. What would every character want for their birthday?
I saw that one. That was cute.
I would imagine for Dieth, he cares so little about his birthday, he just straight up forgot when it is.
But if he knew, what would he want?
If he knew, what would he want? I don't know. I don't know. Ooh.
He'd want something meaningful. Like he'd want like a, I don't know, like a poem that they all wrote him or something.
You probably a trip somewhere, or like time spent together, not necessarily like a thing so much.
Like a vacay.
Yeah.
A trip to the beach, maybe?
Oh my god.
For the beach episode.
Well, he might want that, but
Yeah.
I know he's just going to get a pie.
Yeah. You know this
All right.
AMA is just me getting fuel for future episodes, right? Like,
No.
that's all it really is.
Oh. I was fully prepared to see you jotting notes down this entire time.
No.
Yeah. They're being logged in my computer.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think like Evelyn is one of those people who's like super easy to shop for because she likes everything. So like literally anything that anyone got her. But I think probably like if they were like, what do you want? It would be like a weapon, like a really bedazzled,
Badass weapon.
sick weapon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or she would like, I would say a pet, but I think she doesn't see those as like gifts. She sees them as like family that she collects. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think-
Strix would like anything too.
I think Paulton would use his birthday as an excuse to just be more of a dick.
he would want like full immunity for the day.
He's the kind of guy who's like, you have to, it's my birthday.
Right?
This is the birthday
But it's
challenge.
like-
Yeah.
But it's
Or like
actually
some-
like 5 days before his birthday.
Just like someone assumes he wants wine, he's like, "Oh, cool. I mean, it's not a magic mandolin, but I guess that's neat."
Oh, no.
I got a couple of questions from
Yep.
the subreddit we can do. From Butterscotch Paradox, if you were to multi-class, which class would you go into?
Cool.
I don't know. I don't. Everyone asks this all the time, and I just don't think Evelyn's a multi-classer. But
With me, it would be Barbarian. No, I'm kidding.
Just in general?
Yeah. DM Barbarian is kind of a nasty comment.
Hey, great.
like
How
it.
about this, Chris? What would you pick for us to multi-class in?
Oh,
That's a good
gosh,
question.
that is a good question. Let's see. Strix. So, something weird like Druid.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Oh, actually, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
yeah, I could see that.
yeah,
Yeah.
like because there is the swamp one,
Yeah.
or the
Yeah.
that would be
Yeah.
cool. Talking to animals.
Yeah. With, let's see. With Dieth, maybe like Monk.
Ooh.
Have him just sort of
Ooh.
strip him down to his bare essentials and get rid of the bad weapons altogether.
Interesting.
Yeah. With Evelyn, let's see. Paladin is a weird one to pair off with something else.
Evelyn just always wants to be a bard, but that doesn't necessarily
Right.
mean anything.
Yeah, wow.
See why I can't answer this question?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I can't think of one off the top of my head that would naturally
Barbarian.
just have a rage, fly into rages all of a sudden.
Yeah. Just,
Sunburn! Yeah.
Lathander Rage.
The sunburn.
With Paulton, probably like Warlock, have him forge some dark pact with the dark power of Ravenloft and just go full on bore, super evil.
Oh
Cool.
no.
Damn.
Or
So-
Fae, or go Fae and make it like Raven Queen or somebody like that.
Ooh.
For
cool.
in my head for Dieth, I had a couple of ways that would work for all of his characters. I thought about maybe like Sorcerer or probably Wizard would make more sense just from hanging around Strix and even Paulton so much. You just maybe learn some magic. But I like him not having magical abilities at all. I would see Ranger kind of making sense for him with him traversing so much. This is not my idea. I saw this suggested in a subreddit thread at one point, but someone said that Dieth could also become a warlock with the Pact of Blades and make his patron Shemashka through Gunner or something insane like that.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
Ooh.
terrible.
Yeah,
Terrible.
kind of hate that. Otherwise,
Alt DF, yeah.
yeah. Otherwise, Dieth getting to Battlemaster Fighter, so he has a bunch of command dice, and he would just get like extra kind of disarming attacks or being able to command allies in battle would also be more in his character.
Yep. You said you had another question from the Reddit?
Yeah. Let me find it. Oh, from a picture of two sharks. What was the moment that made you really fall in love with your character?
Oh, that's so sweet. It's hard to say though, to pick like a moment.
I mean, I've played Dieth for several years, but this is like the most Dieth I've ever done or had. But the one where I actually really like started to like him was the episode where he was hanged. As I feel like that was kind of the jumping off point where we actually got to dive into who he is and what was important to him as he was coming towards the end of his life, and how he got to that point, etc. Showed a lot about him.
Yeah, I think that when I felt like closest to Evelyn was similar when she knew she was going to die. I think I fell in love with her well before that, but like when she fully became like super real to me was like she would not shut up during that whole week before episode 52. So
Mine's so stupid. Mine's when Strix ran away.
Oh, yeah. That's great.
Because
Yeah,
So iconic.
that was when like as a character she was like totally autonomous from like me as a player. Because like I was gonna be like no like don't do, and then all of a sudden I was like she runs away. I was like wait why? So and like
Because that's
she
what you
started-
do in Barovia.
Exactly. She started having a mind of her own at that point. So
Yeah, I think for Paulton it was the wagon and when he remembered his parents were dead and like really just all that like that story like building and like coming to was like really cool.
Yep.
honestly, like I'm trying to think and I feel like it was like the moment when she wouldn't stop talking when they were like carrying a coffin in one of the first like 4 episodes or something that I fell in love with Evelyn when everyone was telling her to shut up and she just wouldn't anyway and didn't care. I think that's when I fell in love with her. I have a good follow-up to that from chat.
Bring it.
Plain Introduction asks, how has the game changed you guys? It's a deep one.
Paranoia through the roof.
Crippling depression.
Oh,
We're all much better friends now. There's that.
there
it's
is
true.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely I think given me lots of good things in my life, and it's a great thing.
For me, it's sort of illustrated or shown and strength of the community. That this can be something that people can stand behind and really care about these characters and want to involve themselves more with the characters. And out of the art and things come a lot of great ideas.
Yeah. It has greatly exponentially increased my creative outlet as aside from just doing the show and thinking about the character, what's going to happen next, and why he was doing things he did or felt things he did, but writing backstories and exploring that has got me back into writing that I haven't done since like high school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to say a similar thing. It's made me a ton more self-aware in terms of like my passions and creativities, and then a lot more creatively courageous.
Yeah, totally. I would have never sang a song.
No. In fact, that was something I've always wanted to do, is like compose and sing a song like that, and always like believed that I couldn't somehow. So this community, like this community being this tiny group of friends first, and then like the greater community has just like so completely encouraged and accepted every piece of artistic expression that's come out of all of us, that like it just makes you feel safe. And then like the more and more you kind of put like a little thing out there and it's accepted, you feel like putting a bigger thing out there and a bigger thing out there. So I don't think I'm like at the fullest expression of that courage, but I feel like it's made me a lot more creatively courageous.
Yeah, I would say this show alone has made me much more comfortable with role playing and getting into character and not being afraid to show emotions through the character. Because almost every other time in D&D, like, yeah, some serious things will happen, but it's always quips or people feeling empowered or heroic rather than vulnerable. And I think this show shows vulnerability quite a bit.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's important.
Maria on Twitter asked me, did I come up with my Strahd voice for DCA, or was the voice something I've used for him in the past? As a general rule, I don't think much about voices until in the moment. So I didn't know how Strahd was going to talk until I started talking like Strahd. And I'd probably have to go back.
Well, it was terrifying.
What's that?
Yeah, please never do it again.
Wait, did you say go back? What did you say?
No, I said in order to do it again, I'd probably have to go back and hear it again because it's been so long.
Not that you have a reason to.
I'm going to do that right after the show for no reason. Yeah.
Well, we don't know if he's joking or not.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I have a question from chat, or from Twitch chat. This is for Paulton. Has Paulton taught Simon how to play any instruments?
No, but that's a good idea.
There's that one piece of fan art that's him teaching him how to play the mandolin. That's so cute.
It's super adorable.
It's so cute.
It's like
That
the
is
cutest
good.
Simon art in the world.
That's a great idea. I just need a mandolin.
You have a mandolin. You stole a 3-string mandolin from a guy in a bar.
I
Yeah.
thought I
Oh,
gave it
Babby's
back.
first mandolin.
I don't believe you gave it back.
Oh, cool.
No, you
Well,
saw
then
him, but you
I'll
didn't get.
I'll teach him vanilla mandolin.
I just saw a question. Is anyone teaching Simon new things?
Yeah.
There has been the question of what is Simon up to. You
Yeah.
guys got to realize that like if Chris Perkins is not telling you something in an episode, there's a reason.
And the funniest thing is, everyone was saying in the subreddit how dumb we all are, because we're like, oh, isn't that cute? And everyone's like, he's feeding something. And we're just like, it's so adorable. Look at him being a
The good
person.
news is, Waffle Fam, you won't have to wait long to find out.
Oh.
Will there be a new episode of DCA next Tuesday? I think we should probably answer that at some point. I guess it depends on whether or not we make it through the weekend.
Oh, I forgot to tell you, for the record, I actually won't be available for that at all. So,
Anyone else? Anyone? Blah, 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 blah.
I'm
So
always
maybe-
available.
Okay.
so
Well,
maybe
let's
don't.
say yes, question mark, and leave it at that.
Fine.
We'll
I mean,
we'll
hopefully
figure it
Dia's
out.
not dead by then anyway.
Yeah.
Hey, you might be dead.
So a subreddit question that I saw that I figured would actually just be good as a general answer, in case where people don't know. People were asking, how did dice camera action come about? And I could take this one. So Wizards had the idea to create their own live streaming D&D show specifically to showcase the new campaign books coming out. And at that time was going to be The Curse of Strahd.
Yep.
And they were looking for kind people who are known for loving D&D to come onto the show and be a part of it. And this is around the time I had just done my very first ever D&D December event, where I just talked about Dungeons and Dragons throughout all of December. And that was it 2014, 15?
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. Dang. Then they saw that and they asked me to be a part of it. And they said, is there anyone else you know who would be great to be on the show? And I said, actually, yeah, I do know some people. So I recommended to them that they should contact Holly, because I figured Holly would say yes. And then a few weeks after that, Nate and I were together doing a separate show. And we started talking about D&D in general. And I was like, hey, man, you want to do this thing?
Like, yes.
Yeah. And then I believe it was Greg who reached out to you, Anna.
Yeah, I was the odd one out. I was the complete
Yeah.
loner who didn't know anybody and just got plopped into the show by Greg Billsland.
Yeah. And I remember that first episode you showed up and I was like, ugh, this girl.
I know, right?
Who does she think she is?
She's
I know.
everywhere.
She's not in LA.
And I slowly won you over the course of the year until I finally had the courage to be like, can I hang out with you guys, please? Yeah.
Where did your character names come from?
I made noises with my mouth until a name formed in middle school.
Okay. There we go.
I didn't know
That's seriously it.
That's good though. That's not like a real name.
Yeah, and something actually came out of middle school, which is great.
Yeah. Strix is a Latin, one of the Latin words for the barred owl, I believe. I just go into, a lot of times I'll just go into Latin words and just find things that relate to birds and use those. And usually I've had a couple of names for my characters in the past, but and that I've used mostly in the same way, like even when I was younger, like in high school and college, but Strix just stuck.
I have no idea where Evelyn came from. I don't remember at all. But Marthane came from her original iteration where she was a paladin of Martha. And I think I forgot that when I made her and just accidentally was like,
Tapped
what?
into the name again.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so
Where did Helvig Avalona come from?
Helvig Avalona came from the subreddit. I was like, hey, subreddit, Evelyn doesn't have a middle name. What do you guys think it is? Because you know her better than me. And they made a bunch of suggestions, and I liked both Helvig and Avalona, and I thought that she would probably have 4 names. So I chose both. So thanks, Waffle Fam.
I feel like I've talked about Paulton's name before, but
Salt and Pepper, right?
Yep. For those of you who didn't guess that he's already Deadpool influenced. Yeah, Salt and Pepper, Paulton Seppa.
Yep.
I didn't realize that for like a year.
Neither did I.
Well, who thinks about Salt and Pepper anymore?
Well, I think it was Jared that pointed it out to me, and I was like, oh no.
A Moyer asks, Strix and Diath not admitting their feelings makes sense. But what is going on with Paulton and Evelyn? Come on! Are they going to admit it to each other just to clarify?
I don't think it makes sense for anyone.
Yeah.
Evelyn has admitted it and was told not to have those feelings anymore, if you remember.
I remember.
And Paulton being aware of the drama and intrigue it causes with the viewers is probably a motivator.
Yeah, if everybody just kisses, then it's over, right? That's done.
Right.
Yeah.
Look, have you seen X-Files? You know how long that took? Come on.
Things went kind of downhill after that kiss, right?
That's true.
Yeah, and you know, if that happens, Chris now has the best fuel against all of our characters forever.
Yeah. From the subreddit, this is a good one from D. Long John Silver. He asks, what choices have your characters made that you as a player didn't want to or didn't like? Where like your character did something where you were just like, why would he do that?
Well, this one time I tried to kill all of you.
Yeah, I mean, Strix has thrown herself in front of like so many monsters and she has no armor.
Yeah.
So, that's so many times.
Yeah.
And done stupid things so many times that I'm just like, well, oh well, there she goes.
There's a ton of things. I'm trying to think of one specific thing.
There's so many for Evelyn.
You say, because I talked to Holly about, I talked to all of you guys about
I remember one time Evelyn decided to fight the fire giant lord by herself. That was tricky.
Well, Yeah, and then she did the same thing with Dendar with
Yeah.
like the command and everything. But it's more often the like feelsy things that I really don't want to do that I feel like Evelyn would do, like how she'll react to something that someone said, or like putting herself like making a decision not to be close to one of the characters because she thinks something is right instead, or something like that. Those are usually fun. And there have actually been a few that like I spent a whole week like agonizing over because Evelyn wanted to do something and I didn't want her to do it, but she just decided she was going to. And then once the episode happened, the opportunity wasn't there and she didn't do it anyway. So there are a lot of those, which I can't reveal because who knows, she may still do them eventually. But
If you had to guess which item you're likely to lose next as a result of some misfortune or accident, what would it be? Like
What item?
Yeah, or a piece of your identity, whatever.
Whatever.
Evelyn lost Lightfall at one point. Paulton got his mandolin tossed away into the mouth of a dragon turtle.
Oh.
Dieth has lost keys up, by the many.
If Dieth ever loses his amethyst, I will riot.
Oh, that would be terrible.
One of my favorite scenes was when Shemeshka actually held it. I could just watch your skin crawl.
Oh,
I know,
yes.
you could see it on Jared for sure.
It's not
I-
magical.
I felt it. I was just like, oh, get away.
Does she know? Like, is she aware of its significance?
She knows everything, Holly.
Oh no, that's right. She has the mirror.
She doesn't know everything, but she knows a lot. She knows what can be learned through research and all that business. She's not psychic or anything.
Ugh.
There's an interesting chat. Oh, we haven't finished this one. Sorry. Losing stuff.
I got scared by Shemeshka and forgot what the question was.
Oh,
What's
it's like
something you've-
what's
what would you not-
what's the next thing your character's
Oh.
going to lose?
Well, I was
Or
gonna,
you like don't want lose.
Here's
Yeah.
the thing. I always think it's going to be your staff, but we all know that it's going to be something more traumatic, like waffles.
Don't say that. Oh no.
Or Simon.
Or Simon. And
Well, we've
Yeah.
lost Simon at least once.
Twice.
twice.
Yeah.
That was such a traumatic moment. Like that, I really.
Yeah.
But I'm ready to turn my staff into a frying pan because you can't destroy metal things that easily. So
Yeah. So the moment when Simon gained his soul was mere seconds before he was destroyed. You guys all know that, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I knew that confirmed.
Which that moment alone completely changed the way Dieth sees Simon.
Yeah.
Was when he saw Simon go back for Paulton in the
Yeah.
Yak village.
Yeah.
Was that when he gained his soul? Right.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh. Did you know that at the time, or did you decide it after?
I totally knew that at the time.
Oh.
Wow.
People wondering where Dragonbait is.
that's awful.
Dragonbait died of typhoid fever in the jungles of Chult. Next.
Oh, what?
I'm kidding.
But he's got a score of 363 out of 400, so it's pretty
Yeah.
good.
I can't think of any. Like Evelyn has lost so many. I mean, I think this is like so cliche, but just like if she lost anyone in the party or like the ability to just be with them, that would be the only thing.
So like the sort of Spinelli, whatever. Yeah, blah. Fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
not even her
she'll
sword.
Find another one.
Yeah.
It's Spaghetti's sword.
Yeah.
And I mean, like she can't. Well, I don't think she could lose Morning Glory. So
So.
there's a fun question that I'm going to extrapolate from. The question was from Swan Dive. What would or could have happened if Nate wouldn't have rolled a Nate 20 on the Raven save in the Vistani ritual, saving Evelyn? And I know that you've also told us about the save when Strix ran away before the 50 years and like what would have happened if she hadn't saved on that. So like, were there any moments that you can give insight on that we had a roll that changed everything like that?
Like an actual die roll that changed things.
Yeah.
Well, those are two good examples of die rolls that literally kept, members of the party alive.
Because what would have happened if not?
If let's say if Nathan had rolled the Nate 20 on pulling Evelyn out of the mouth of the giant devil face, she would have been trapped in the soulmonger. And her soul would have been consumed in a matter of days or whatever. So
So there
suddenly,
would just be no evil in.
well, her
Oh,
soul would be
right.
trapped there, and so suddenly the impetus would have changed. They would have either had to take extreme measures, some kind of extreme measures to get her out of there quickly, or Anna would be playing a new character right about now.
Cool.
Mm.
We were all so scared in that moment.
Speaking of which,
Thanks,
I have a
mate.
Yeah, I have a question from chat on the same vein. It says, since the nightmare episode, have any of your characters' worst nightmares changed?
Ooh.
Well, I noticed that in DS Nightmare, he saw the group of cranium rats threatening him.
Yeah.
And now Strix herself becomes a group
Pile
of rats.
Yeah. There's
So-
that. Yeah.
You know how that works.
Yeah.
I guess
The idea that Dieth, there's this weird planar thing going on between Dieth and Strix. Dieth is kind of fighting the lone. He's kind of by himself. Strix has this thing called the Skizix Chasm that we don't know a great deal about behind her numbers on her side, as it were.
But she doesn't want those.
No.
pretty much everything in DS Nightmare has come true.
Yeah.
The Strix rats, Strix missing,
Yeah.
Paulton becoming evil, and
Yes.
and then he lost his wings, whatever that means,
Yeah.
or nothing, just whatever.
Yeah. Paulton's was a fun one because in Paulton's case, I sort of saw his nightmare scenario as being, I'm just not effective. I don't belong in this group. I'm not contributing anything to the greater party, so why should I be here? That's why he sort of got separated.
And I get scared that why you brought the Baba Yaga's hut into Strix's. Maze makes sense, but the bringing that in, like, I was like, uh-oh. And you also said it was your hut, and I was like, I don't like this. Ooh. I remember that. I remember that, Chris.
That's good. I'm glad you do. I'm
remember
so glad.
that.
I'm so glad.
It's really interesting because it was all like that nightmare was all about finality. Like,
Yep.
because Evelyn has a really strange view of death. Like, she doesn't really see death as kind of like an end at all. So if someone dies, to her, that's not like that big of a deal. Like, it sucks because she will miss them, but they're, moving on to the next thing. And, but with the soulmonger threat looming, the idea of like everything will be a waste and this will be the end
Yep.
was like too much. So I don't know that has changed for Evelyn. That's got to be one of the scariest things you could do to her.
Yep. A few people are asking what are some of the things that are going to come up in this season. I don't want to spoil too much other than to say that things that we've already talked about before, that the theme of this season is friendship. And being in a city, I think politics is going to become more of a thing as the season plays out. And you've already seen some of that, or you're just sort of tasting a little bit of that now.
Oh yeah, I'm actually really intrigued by that because DS is already starting to play the politics game a little bit in there.
Yep.
And Strix is just going to start baking and selling pies outside of asking anyone, so she's going to get in trouble.
Yeah, there's this thing called the Bakers Guild. So guilds in the city are kind of a big deal. They hold a tremendous amount of power. And in order to basically run a business or earn money in the city, if you're not a member of a guild, it can be very, very, very tricky. And there's like the Cellarers and Plumbers Guild, there's the Dung Sweepers Guild, there's the Bakers Guild. So if you're looking to get ingredients to make pies, you get them from the Bakers Guild or you don't get them.
Or you get them from the trash at the Baker's
Or
Guild.
you pick them out of trash cans in the dead of night, one of those two things.
Hey.
Here's another fun question from the subreddit from Kokoro Kurisu. What are some character relationships you want to develop more? I've got two answers for this.
love that.
One, I would love to do some more Paulton and Dieth stuff. Because like they clearly have a camaraderie, especially when they do the good cop, bad cop stuff. That's super fun. I love that a lot. But there's also been a lot of hostility and animosity between them. And I know why that is for Dieth's side. I know why, and that's something I've always wanted to explore for a long time. We'll see if we ever get to that point.
Yeah.
And then another one I want to explore more is Dieth's pure hatred for Omen Drawn.
I guess we'll get to do that soon.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I agree with the Paulton and Diath stuff. There's a lot to explore there.
Yes.
I'm also interested in the Paulton Chris Perkins relationship.
Be crossing the fourth wall threshold. Yes,
Which
Yeah.
we'll see.
that'll go well.
I would like to see more because I feel like they're like magic friends, and they're also like if the juxtaposition of our party, like having like Evelyn and DF being these like more or less like I sort of see them like more like Paragon kind of characters, like characters that are always doing like trying their best and doing their best, and then there's like Paulton and Strix who are these like messed up, sad like demon people who've made mistakes.
I was actually going to pick Strix Paulton too, because I see them as kind of like the younger siblings who've like always had sibling rivalry, but then they're like growing up and they're about to be like BFFs because they realize how much they have in common, or like
it was that counterspell, man. Like when we did the counterspell together, that was badass. Too bad it was totally pointless, but it was badass.
That was a really good moment. One of my favorites, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. And talking about the Paulton Diath stuff, there have been like 2 episodes where they had this good cop, bad cop moment, which I just found utterly hilarious. Like just me inside, I was just chuckling like a madman.
I think the only other relationship I think is going to be really interesting this season is actually like diving into the Evil and Lathander relationship, which like
That's going to be huge this season.
Well,
I get the sense, which I think is really cool because I think people don't see Evelyn as having a relationship with Lathander. Like they see it as like, oh, there she goes with her crazy religion again.
We've never seen Evelyn interact with her temple before.
No. Yeah, and I think like so much has happened, and she's obviously having some strange like questions about how she's supposed to act and who she's supposed to be and who is she now that she's been gone so long and all that. So like the questions about like who is Lathander to her and what does that relationship actually mean has been something I've wanted to explore for a long time because people make such assumptions about it, but she never gets to, like, nobody really wants to talk to her about it. So it'll just become like really apparent now that she's in Waterdeep, I think.
Yep.
And they're kicking Lathander out.
But are they? That's going to be weird. I don't know.
It's not as simple as that. but then religion never is, right? So.
Yeah.
Strix doesn't care. They're barmy.
Yep. Any other questions?
The Fosley asked if Evelyn has ever dated in her past, or was she too focused on her calling?
Oh.
Ooh.
I haven't like canonized that, and I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure that she had like, I think that Paladin School is probably like lots of like flirtation and like very like, you know, spin the bottle and like all that kind of stuff. I think that she's not like, I think she had those experiences, but I don't think she ever had time or like never met anyone that actually wanted to have a like deep, like I'm your person kind of relationship
Plus, let's
with
be
her.
honest, she was in love with Lathander, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. And so I think she was like really, really into that aspect of her life. And also, I think she maybe wanted more of a connection with other people than the people she was around wanted, because everyone was just like in love with Lathander, you know? I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out. But I don't think she has had much dating experience now.
For the record, I do have a canonical backstory for Diath and a previous love interest that I do want to write at some point.
Any details you can spill?
It was before he met Strix.
Okay. Is this something that a potential future guest star could play?
Oh, fuck.
Oh,
Oh no!
As a matter of fact, Chris.
no. Oh.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, it is.
I look forward to seeing your notes.
Oh no!
Damn it. I didn't even think of that. Just kidding. No more stories.
This is going to be so much fun.
That would be good. I think that would be good.
This is a good follow-up to that from chat from Clinty Eastwood. Does anyone have something about their character they haven't said that they would like to?
I don't think so.
No.
Nope.
Nope. No one has anything to know.
None secrets here.
Oh, what a. I'm trying to think if there's anything.
It's hard to answer those questions because
Right.
it's like so fun for you guys to speculate, you know? So it's like as soon as we confirm something, then it means you don't get to guess anymore.
Yeah, no, that's totally true.
I mean, the answer is yeah, tons. There's a lot of things about Dieth, his past, and why he is the way he is that I have not talked about, that the rest of the crew doesn't know about either. A little bit I've talked with Chris, but the other party members certainly do not know at all. That's fun.
Yeah, no,
'Cause-
Strix has like no secrets. She's just an open book. She's like, one time I got killed by this thing, and she just like overshares everything. So it's like, there's nothing.
So here's a question for you. Looking back on the campaign, is there a moment or a thing that happened that makes you go, hey, Chris, what was up with that blank?
Chris, what
There's
was up
so
with
many.
every single time you were mean to Dieth?
Yeah, drama is good for the soul.
Okay.
Man.
I feel like we had a lot because we talk to each other outside of the game. Because as soon as we're done, we all basically go to each other as a support group.
Yeah. I don't like leaving a lot of loose ends. In fact, I
Yeah.
try to tie things up a lot, and I don't like to often wait to tie things
Hey!
up very long.
Chris, when Dieth gave Strix a key, what's up with that
Yeah,
like weird way of
what's up with
energy?
that?
What's up with that?
That was kind of like a breach of protocol warning. That kind of
Oh, Chris,
call-
was that summoning the
call it a-
Maru?
planar shockwave.
Cool.
Cool.
Was that the phone call to
So
the Maru?
that's kind of the thing that makes the planes sit up and say, oh, they're really serious about fucking up everything. So yeah, that was basically like a phone call.
I thought it was like a cool, like, oh, look.
No, it was bad.
There's a lot of things that I think we like left that are not like Chris what was up with, but like the Dwarf King.
Little messes,
Like
yeah.
3 days.
Yeah.
Oops.
And the funny thing is, I had like a series of things that would have happened if you had gone back to the king, who basically needed your help. He was in that situation he was in.
And we promised we'd
You
come.
promised you'd come back and you never did. But I kind of like those kind of sloppy endings because that's life.
Yeah. We
That's
can't
true.
answer every call.
Yeah, not
or plot
everything.
thread.
Not everything always gets tied off in a nice, neat little bow. And frankly, stories that get neglected, if they're important, can sometimes have interesting repercussions later on. Come here, Gara.
Ah.
Hey Chris, what's
Yeah.
up with that?
I think we all know what's up with that. There's a big
What?
fire primordial stomping around in the north, and the dwarves are pretty pissed off about it.
Why are you so mean to Dieth?
Drama.
Yeah, or like, Chris,
Good for
why
the
did
soul.
you try and make Strix have a hag baby? Like,
Oh my god.
Okay. That was kind of like
Oh,
that
I
was
was
the
not
hags
into
realizing
that.
what a soft touch you are.
oh,
And-
of course. I mean, she's so stupid. She's like, okay.
And as soon as they realized, I'm like, I bet you we can make her do this. I think you're right. Let's give it a try.
Oh.
There was no grand scheme there. I was just.
Well, but that's when we found out the part of Dieth's soul was in a box. So.
That's right.
Ugh.
Strix was like, sure, whatever, take whatever you want. Everyone's like, just like trying to sedate her.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you guys are your own worst enemies. You don't need me.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Do we want a light question?
Yeah, here's one. Okay, question. What
I
did
have-
Dieth name his new dagger?
Moonsplinter.
That's good.
This is another light one that I think just might be fun for fan artists, which is what color would be your character's favorite
What color?
color?
For Dieth? Purple.
Aw.
I would assume like white or gold for Evelyn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Black, Strix, or dirt gray or something.
Yeah, I was thinking gray.
Pigeon gray.
Yeah, Strix likes gray, just for a nice foggy gray.
Mm-hmm.
I think Paulton likes a nice maroon.
Yeah.
Wine color.
Wine colored.
Oh, I guess so.
If Paulton had a favorite drink, what would it be?
The Wait Peruvian.
Wait, Peruvian?
Which I'm still working on, but
Uh-huh,
it's
I
going
saw that.
okay. It's going okay. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I've got a couple of questions from the subreddit when we're ready.
Okay.
All right, so I got a fun one and one that has good that can
thinker?
get some good thoughtful answers.
Yeah.
So fun one first from Calicis Alade. So there have been some offbeat episodes every season where the players get to take a break or play in a different way, such
Yep.
as the campfire episode or
Yep.
the pets episode.
Yep.
Any hint or thought of what sort of episode along those lines we may see this season?
That is a really, really good question. So I have plans. It really sort of depends on how things play out, though.
We're gonna fuck it up.
But it is my hope that at some point in the not too distant future, we can shine the spotlight on I don't know if I want to say anything because I think the surprise would be
Damn it!
horribly
Oh,
spoiled.
come on, just a little bit.
No, it's fine. Oh yeah, the Awful Crew is also a fun offbeat episode.
That was sort of
That was
the
a fun one.
end of last season's. That was actually spawned by the fact that there was that hag business early on
Yeah.
in season 3, and I felt like it would be a good, since it happened so early in the season, to wrap it up at the end of the season made a lot of sense. And frankly, I knew we were going to be going far away from Chult, far away from the hags, and I just didn't want that hanging out there forever.
Yeah, we told the authorities. They cleared them out.
Yeah. All I can say is there's at least one, possibly two kind of wacky offbeat
Ooh.
things planned for the future. We'll see if they both happen or not.
For the record, during the pets episode, my original plan for that entire stream was to not say any words
Yeah.
and only make Waffles coo noises and pantomime.
Yep.
But then for the sake of playing, I chose to. But anyway,
So
another
I will spoil one of the ideas. Okay, just to throw a bone out there. Okay, and that is that it centers around street urchins.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh.
I won't say how they're used or what they're used as or how they're involved with the greater story or all that. But in a story about Waterdeep, I thought it would be fun to have an episode that basically focused on that part of city life.
I like it.
Yeah, it could be sad.
Yeah.
Another question came from Janine Desiree. How much of your character's backstory has come from you and how much from Chris and the campaign? And how has this changed your thoughts on the character?
That's really good.
That is a really good question.
So for Diath, at the start, I basically had already established his past growing up in the streets, his relationship with Ashton Woodrow, the Amethyst, and how he got his roguish abilities and skills in the first place. And Chris is the one who made it so like, oh, you're the last Lorcatha and you're going to fuck up the planar universe.
Yeah.
So that's neat.
Yeah, Chris gave me that too. The Skizzics and even the Baba Yaga, the background was also Chris's idea. But I already loved that stuff. It just so happened he was like, "Why? How about this?" And I was like, "That's great." So
Yeah,
I left it really
all the
open.
planar stuff is basically thrown in there for Holly's benefit originally. So I knew what a passion she had for Planescape. So
It's so good. It's my
Yeah.
favorite.
Evelyn's backstory is like pretty largely unexplored.
we talked about she has a family, or had a family. Somebody did ask, by the way, in Twitter how she lost her leg. Is that something that we'll go back to at some point?
It's like debatable whether I should just say it here or like let it play out in the story. I
Yeah,
think
you
I
can hang
should
on
let
to
it. Yeah, I'll let it
Yeah,
play
if
out.
there's a debate at all, I feel like you should hold on to it.
Yeah.
But the important thing is you do know what happened, right? Like you've thought about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I do know that. I have written so many pages of backstory and sent them all to Chris. So the thing is with Evelyn, I have come up with a ton of her backstory, but also it's like I'm waiting to find out how much of that will stay her backstory or not, because I'm totally open to whatever Chris does too. So most of it so far has been true to what I came up with. But then a lot of the like conventions of the temple and that kind of stuff, like Chris came up with that. So is that right, Chris? I think
That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Paulton basically had no backstory when we started this.
Yeah.
I just kind of made the character and didn't give a lot of thought to origins, so I just kind of left it open for whatever Chris might think of. And
Mistake
we
number
are.
one.
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot that the one thing I did tell Chris was that Strix did work in a bakery in Sigil, and everyone in the bakery was killed, and she was spared, and that was part of her Haunted One backstory.
Yeah.
So that was the only, which that's never been
Right.
touched on. So
Yeah, it seemed that early on in season 1, when we're in Barovia, that there was an opportunity to maybe attach a character to that setting in some way. And Paulton, because he was such a blank slate, seemed like a good choice. And plus, since the Vistani are sort of nomadic people who really enjoy entertainment and in playing instruments and singing and dancing and song and all that kind of thing, for a bard character, it seemed like a natural fit.
A lot of people keep asking if Paulton might technically be a bee stinger.
Good Lord. That is so twisted. It's for so many reasons.
And he likes it. You can tell from his tone.
Yeah. I'd have to, oh God. I don't know if I want to turn over that rock. Yeah. So what are you guys looking forward to this weekend?
I'm a little scared.
A little scared. I think getting to hang with the other parts of the C team that I didn't get to before. Because
when you were in their game, you were there with, I was going to call him Cathris, but his name is Chris.
yeah,
with Chris and Amy.
yes,
Yeah. Ryan and Kate were out, so.
yeah. So Ryan and Kate have not been there, which originally at the Stream of Many Eyes, there was going to be a big Diath and Rosie Beestinger interaction during the off the table live role playing portion, but due to time constraints, it didn't really come across, which is fine because I got to say that idea and then use it for the C team appearance.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, being with Kate and Ryan there will be fun. See how that goes.
I was so excited to see you and Jerry DM together, Chris.
Yeah, that will be fun. Jerry and I actually have a meeting this Thursday to hash out the actual details of how that's going to work.
It'll be bad cop, bad cop.
He and I, yeah, we've never double DM'd a group before, so this is new for us too.
Do you know of anyone who has done that?
No.
Because I don't.
I know people who who've given over the DM role, but
Yeah,
to have
but
two DMs simultaneously DMing is new.
As one of the producers, I like to claim like first time ever, you
Yeah.
know. So like as far as I know, this
I'm
is the
sure
first time
somebody in the
that
history of D&D has done it. I'm not saying that we haven't, but this is the first time I think it's ever been done like this for all to see.
I think we can claim this is the first time that two major D&D showcasts and both
Yes.
DMs have played together at the same time
That's
with two
probably
DMs.
true.
We
Yeah.
can say that.
Yeah.
First.
Yeah.
First.
Yeah.
I think it's also going to be fun hanging out with Strahd this weekend. It's going to be cool.
Yeah, because you know he's just going to be sitting right in that chair.
Yeah.
I'm excited to. I don't think I've played Evelyn with people who don't know Evelyn, at least in a very long time. So that's going to be really, really fun.
Yeah, that was a fascinating part of doing the C Team episode was playing Dieth, but having the other party members there not know anything about Dieth. So like I pulled Gutter out and they're all like, ooh, and I was like, no, what? No, this thing's awful.
Right? Oh God, it's gonna be fun.
It just occurred to me, you're higher level than them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay then.
But
You couldn't tell.
as you say, suboptimal.
Yeah.
Sorry. Do we have more about this weekend? Because that's a good line of questioning.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I have another question at the ready.
Give your question.
Sure. From the subreddit, Shadow Tai One says, Chris, did any of the players ever do anything that was unexpected even for you?
Ooh.
Yes. I think that's a safe answer. I think every week you guys do something that makes me go,
well, I'm just going to throw away these notes.
That's why you like us so much.
yeah. It's like, oh, I guess you didn't really like that mandolin very much. Or
Damn it.
or like I didn't expect when the key got thrown overboard that Strix would go deep diving down for it, and then the dragon turtle would have to come after her and all that kind of stuff. I think that you guys are constantly making surprising decisions. Blowing up Simon by accident was kind of fun. Surprise.
Oh yeah, what a good time.
Fun?
Yeah, it's great.
Fun from the point of view of like, I don't know what's going to happen next. The fact that you guys talked your way past that death guy
Oh yeah.
That
was pretty unexpected but delightful. So I could go back and look at any episode and say, oh my God, I'm so glad that so-and-so did that because it was totally surprising and unexpected.
That's funny that you didn't think Strix would go after the key after you made it send out a planar phone call.
Right. Yeah, no,
Like,
I just thought the sheer terror of having that giant dragon turtle in the water would have discouraged her from doing anything like that.
I don't even think she.
Well, if there's one thing we learned about Strix.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's always scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And never makes smart decisions when she is.
Right.
Nope.
Like I didn't know that Dieth would release the fire primordial. I had no way to know that. I just put the toy there and waited to see what happened. But
That was a moment of Dieth doing something that I didn't.
Yeah.
Because Jared just like put it in, you're done here, leave. But Dieth was like, there are several people up
Right.
there that I could save.
yeah, giving the Strahd doll to Drizzt was a surprise. I didn't expect that.
You look competent.
Yeah, he was. He took it exactly where it needed to go. But
And look where that got us.
yeah.
Well, we shouldn't have taken it out of Barovia. Yeah, did you expect us to take the doll out of Barovia? There's a question.
I had no expectations there. I didn't have any expectations that you'd keep Simon.
Ha!
Got him.
Yeah. Or that you'd eat Hootie McHootface.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
sorry, Waffles, we ate your mom.
I just love how messed up that is, though.
We didn't know. Oh, man.
From Gen B in the subreddit, what ideas did you previously have for your characters or plot that were scrapped?
Oh, there's a big
I got
one
lots
for
of them.
Evelyn.
I got lots of plot ones. Yeah. Go
But
ahead.
I'm not gonna. No, I'm not. Well, I'll say this: Evelyn made some really big decisions while she was dead, and was going to do certain things when she came back, but did not remember them. Surprise! Thanks, Chris. So I came into that episode like cocked and ready, and then. But what I think is so interesting about that is then Evelyn's like subconscious has evolved, but her
Yes.
knowledge has not. So like she's the dissonance between who she thinks she is and who she actually is terrifying right now. So it's really
Yes.
fun.
And I think having that information sort of leak out a little bit is also kind of fun. Like recently, she had an experience where she had a recall moment, where she
Which was an accident, by the way.
yeah, right, yeah, exactly. But it happened, and so there might be other things that happen, particularly as she's now dealing with matters all related to Lathander and the temple, where she does sort of remember things from her heavenly experience, and those can inform her decisions going forward.
And who knows whether she would still make those decisions now that all this has happened.
Yeah.
But, so all of that was quote unquote scrapped, but it's still relevant.
Right. Yes. A lot of season 3, there were entire episodes that just sort of appeared out of nowhere when you guys got the Ring of Winter, which was not a given. When you guys confronted artist Simber and the ring had taken hold of him because of something that happened not having to do with any of you, but he was under the evil influence of the ring, you killed him and kept the ring, and Paulton basically donned it and kept it and wore it for a prolonged period of time, even though numerous warnings about doing so. And because of that, it basically led to like 5 episodes worth of crazy shit that happened that resulted also in you not and going to the tomb. None of that was planned. That was I had plot stuff in the Tomb of the Nine Gods in the heart of Chult. I assumed you would go there at some point, and you just never got quite that far.
Whoops.
Right.
There was a moment that Anna and I had planned together where Evelyn was going to go off and essentially do a morning prayer and speak to Evelyn. And we came up with Dieth kind of following her and exploring these parts of their relationship and their relationships with Strix and Paulton. But instead, Paulton followed her.
Right.
And both Jared and I are like, oh.
So I guess that was kind of scrapped, but just it was repurposed.
That's what makes roleplay so cool, is that you come up with ideas like you would write like a play or something, but you never know until you actually get there what you're actually going to perform.
Or what you'll be able to perform, given the circumstances that are thrust upon you. But the good news is that that material is still there and could be, repurposed later on, potentially in another way.
It just informs your decisions in the moment. So.
Yeah. There's stuff that I create that doesn't get used, but I know I can probably use it later on in some way, shape, or form.
I've had numerous monologues at the ready.
Oh, really?
A couple of them I'll never be able to do, but some of them I'm still holding on to just in case it ever shows up, just so I can.
Can you share any of the ones that you are never going to use now? Because some of them are amazing.
I'll need to remember. I did have a larger one planned for the showdown with Strahd, but instead we just put him in a doll right away.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, well, got him.
There he is. Yep.
I have some more chat questions if we need more.
I think I had another monologue dealing in response to the dwarves, because I knew at some point Dieth would have to respond to that, and when he finally did, he wasn't able to.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't let me monologue.
But that was a really good scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Magnus was so good.
Mm-hmm.
So what NPCs do you want to see come back?
D.
Well, Magnus is now Dieth's dad, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, technically Magnus is still around. He's not, too far.
And Mordenkainen for sure.
Not all of them. It's too hard to pick just like one or two. Every time I think of another NPC, I'm like, oh, that one. Oh, that one.
It's a bit of a stretch, but Mark Holmes' character during the off the table stuff from Stream of Many Eyes, because it's someone that
Zopa the turtle?
Not Zopa. From the Stream of Many Eyes.
Oh,
his tiefling rogue. Or not warlock. Or not rogue. I think he's a warlock. I forget.
He's a warlock, yeah.
But they both they kind of known each other. Maybe not super directly. And for no reason other than that, to get Mark Holmes back on the show. But that was just like a fun interaction where basically Dieth has an NPC from Dieth's past that he didn't automatically have animosity with.
Right.
Oh, well, it looks like you're getting the latter.
Yeah, that could be fun just to sort of tap into the past and assuming that Mark's character would be still gallivanting around Waterdeep. That would make sense. That they'd cross paths at some point.
That could be neat. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. It would be nice just to sort of Dieth had a life in Waterdeep.
Yeah, he did a lot there.
Before he headed off. So in theory, he would know a good number of people scattered throughout the city.
Yeah, that's also kind of my idea, was that he basically has contacts that he can kind of try to
What you
tap
should do,
into?
Jared, is just like put together a short list of some of those people. You don't have to elaborate upon them, and then I can inject them into the campaign, either as just people that you brush shoulders with again, or as full-fledged, hey, super guest star, come play this character and mess with Jared's life. I mean, contribute
and then
positively
twist
to
and
Jared's life.
destroy them, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like Strix was just like called like Gutter Witch or something.
And before Dieth's ex-girlfriend, yeah.
Yeah. That's another thing we never got to is at the end of the last episode is I didn't know how long it would take us to get through it. And so there's material that got chopped off at the very end when you guys decided basically that you would hand it over to the City Watch. It's like, okay, well, don't have to worry about that part.
Well, for the record, so Dieth has handed it off, but Dieth has not let go of it.
Oh, okay. That's good.
So
Fortunately, the City Watch in Waterdeep is very, very capable.
that's good.
Sad bird.
Sad bird. That's all right.
Do you want a new question?
Please.
Yeah, hit us.
I'll do this one short, and then we'll go to a big group one. But who is Evelyn of Shar has come up a lot. Who is Evelyn of Shar, and where did she come from? I don't know if she might ever come back, but I guess what I would say is she does have a backstory that's completely related to the crew. She's not just someone that I threw in there for funny fluff. She actually does have a backstory, which Chris has. So I have no idea what will happen with her or whether we'll learn anything about her in the game, but she does have a backstory.
Oh, that was a good ship. Evil Dieth ex Evelyn.
That was a good one.
That was something actually. That was pretty amazing how you guys played that. So because of her, Shar will play a role in the future that she never would have had before.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Great. And then a good group question for us from Pyroshi is, has the fandom directly influenced any decisions you've made in the game? My answer is yes.
I'm
Yeah,
sure the
I think
answer's
yes
yes.
is for sure. Like anytime Evelyn needs to make a second attack.
Wow, called out. I haven't forgotten it so long. I'm never going to live it down.
I think there's quite a few things that at least I've gotten ideas for and other things like that, like creativity stuff and character stuff too.
I read actually a ton of the fan fiction, and some of it even just on a kind of emotional level informs Evelyn, and some of it I'm like, oh, that's good. She just thinks that now, or she's gonna do that or whatever. So I definitely take some from that.
Yeah, a lot of the fan fictions I've taken from, especially when it comes to Dieth's thought process or feelings or whatever. And there are a couple of fan fictions where, without even knowing it, they nailed it.
Yes.
They just either predicted or knew exactly what their past is or whatever. We can't say that, but they have.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's literally what I was gonna say. There have been ideas that I toy with for Paulton and backstory, and then the next day I'll just read what if this is a thing? I'm just like, come on.
Yeah. I know. And then I'm like, they're going to think I just ripped this off from this story, but I swear I was going to do that. Yeah. Actually, a couple of people called Evelyn's leg way earlier than I revealed it, which was a long time in the reveal, by the way. I will say that about Evelyn's leg. Everyone's like, Anna just came up with that on the fly. That doesn't canonically fit. Do you know how long I kept that secret? Okay. Thank you.
There's an interesting little parallel that occurred to me sometime. Actually, somebody pointed out on the Reddit too that Esmeralda, who had a tie to Paulton, played by Mark Hilms, also was missing a leg. She had a resculpted violin to replace her missing leg. So maybe maybe Paulton's got this gravity well where he just brings in all these beautiful women with missing legs. It's like, I don't know what's up with that.
He has a type.
There's been some of the fans have hit upon some really there was a lot of debate around the rings and what they mean and why Van Richten used them and then gave them to Strix and Dieth to hold Evelyn's soul fragments and what they actually mean. And a lot of that stuff was kind of I was watching it being pieced together really, really well by the fans.
Not by us.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
We had
they
other
got it
things to
first.
worry about.
Yeah, and that was fun.
And then that came up on the C team. So
Yeah.
that's totally, now they have, apparently they're super powerful or whatever.
Well, now apparently Cathris Draub has learned that they can be used to somehow revive some forgotten god or something.
Yeah, so right
Cool.
now, pieces of Evelyn's soul are being used to prevent
Horrible things.
catastrophe.
Yeah. Which makes sense. I mean, that's
Yeah. And we don't know if that ritual soul bonded or whatever Strix and Dia either, but all we know is that it broke a law.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Oops.
An
Yeah.
important one.
I think people are starting to piece that together now too, and so they've sort of, I think they filled in most, if not all, of the gaps, as far as why this is happening and where it's going to go.
Where is it going to go, Chris?
Well,
Straight into the clutches of a Marut. Why do you ask?
just for the record, a Marut is like a CR25 monster.
Yeah.
Oh, we know. We saw.
So-
It's literally
Oh,
a
we read it.
call-out post.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It is a call. You can't polymorph it. You can't, like, it teleports one or two people.
Yes.
It's like the equivalent of
Coordinates and signal.
it's like the equivalent of Chris Perkins like obviously subtweeting us.
Right?
it never misses.
It
So,
never misses.
yeah.
And it does like
That was
160 damage or something.
This is one of the best stories from the Stream of Many Eyes, actually, is like Holly is the one of us who reads the most of D&D of any of us and like closely reads it. And so a lot of times she'll be like, oh, I've noticed this thing and like all of these crazy things work together and here's a bit of insight about D&D. And all of us will be like, okay, Holly, like, yeah, cool. Holly comes and she has this book open and she's like, guys, I found this thing. It's like the Mercy Killers, kind of, but it's also kind of like the, and we're like, okay, Holly, it's fine. It's just another monster. Like, they're all coming for us. She's like, no, listen, can't be polymorphed, can't miss. But, she's like, and we're like, yeah, that does sound a little bit pointed. Okay, like, I'm sure you're just like reading a lot into it. And then she's like, no, and she shows us, and all of us are like huddled around this book that Holly's holding up, and she's like pointing to the lines, and we're all like, is this literally just written? Are we? Yeah, it was great.
Tangentially related to that, a lot of people don't know, but when I work on an adventure, there's a lot of stuff that ends up not getting in for whatever reason. It gets cast off either because it doesn't fit, or it just is a little thematically off, or it was sort of a half-baked idea, or it was hogging too much of the spotlight from what's really going on. But I do keep all that material, and sometimes I get to weed that into this campaign, where I couldn't put it in the published adventure. I can use it here. And
that's cool.
There is actually some of that stuff that I have salvaged, and I'm going to integrate.
I like that.
Yeah.
We get all the special stuff.
Yep.
Oh,
What was the other?
This is too messed up, Chris. We can't publish this. Give it to the library.
What was the other question that you, Anna? I almost called you Evelyn.
That's okay. Yeah, actually, it's interesting because you're the person I most often call by the character name on accident.
When
Okay.
I'm not talking to you guys, I often accidentally refer to you by characters' names.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
We do it to each
None
other.
of us mind. Yeah. It's like a camp counselor name. It's like
Yeah.
the same as your
But
name.
the funny thing is, everybody around the office knows exactly who I'm talking about. So they don't even correct me.
They don't correct you.
No.
This is a good follow-up question to this story. Who does your character want to see least at this moment in the story? Strahd,
Omen Dran.
Shemeshka, Mercy
Oh.
Killers?
Well, shoot. Okay. I was going to say Omen, but there's some other good options in there. Mercy Killers is also up there. Marut, don't want to see that. Don't want to see Shemeshka.
Don't want to see Strahd. I
Yeah,
think
Strahd
Strahd
is-
is my number one. I really, especially after Dieth was like, she has to come get this stuff. And so he's like, oh. Don't want to see her.
Strahd is a pretty good one.
Yeah.
I think probably I'm debating because Evelyn also does and doesn't want to see her brother. But I think Strahd would win in the doesn't want to see category.
So what is it about her brother that puts her on the level of like Strahd or Shemeshka?
I'm strong.
But that's why it's like not on that level, because it's not like she
Okay.
like is terrified to see her
Right.
brother. There are clues to that in the letter that her brother wrote her in the piece that I wrote on the subreddit. It was called like Clouded Judgment. About why she's not looking forward to facing the conversations that she's going to have with her brother when she finally sees him again. But it's not like she's like, my brother is equivalent to Strahd. I just want... But she's just not really afraid of anybody, or like she's not worried. Like she doesn't mind Shemeshka. She thinks Shemeshka's kind of pretty and whatever, and
Pretty and whatever. She's literally in Arcana Loft.
and all the other baddies like.
But she dresses well.
That's the thing, is Evelyn doesn't really see all those things as like that scary. She just, because Lathander's bigger than all of it, so she doesn't think about that.
Megara, don't want to see that again.
Oh
No.
yeah.
I don't want to see any of Strix's family at all, ever. Ezek is high up there. He's kind of sad now, but he's still pretty high up there.
Right.
Evelyn doesn't know it, but she really doesn't want to see Evelyn of Shar.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was a plot point. The idea for Diet that I had to scrap was I really wanted a boss fight against Ezek. It was ready to
Oh yeah.
just basically pummel him to the
Yeah.
ground. And then
Who
Ezek
realized
shows
he's
up. And Ezek shows up. He's like, "I'm sorry," and Diet is just like, "No."
I'm surprised you let that stop you. It's just like,
Yeah.
that's cool.
He was
He's
still
still
mad,
around.
but not
He's
enough.
still out
Yeah.
there. Ezek's still out there.
He is still out there. You guys are really good about leaving those things back, hanging out there.
Well, we can't just murder him.
Of course not. Yeah.
I could.
Well, yes.
You could have.
You could have. That's true. Paulton could have pushed Van Richten off the roof, but he didn't.
Oh
That's
man,
fine.
that moment. Oof.
That was the Van Richten moments were all really good.
I really thought he was going to anyway.
Me too, actually.
You still could, Nate.
But then
Yeah,
we
there's
wouldn't
still
have had episode 52, at least not as we remember it.
And he would be a different person
Yep. He's still out there, by the way.
with his burned out eyes.
Last you saw him.
Oof.
Yep.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a question from chat. Chris, what is your favorite character death so far?
Oh my
Cool.
goodness.
Oh, so
Cool.
many.
Wow. Okay.
It doesn't have to be our deaths.
Oh really?
It could be some any of
Okay.
the NPCs too.
No, it does.
Okay.
Or
Yeah.
guess.
Well,
Start with ours.
Let me consider all the possibilities here. So there's the beautiful self-sacrificing end to Evelyn, which is very romantic and lovely and all of that. There's the sort of cold Diath watching Paulton get beheaded
Oh, that still makes my stomach go.
Ugh.
Ugh.
moment, right?
Oh, that was
Yeah.
bad.
There's just something so simply horrifying about ending an episode with a character getting dropped from the gallows.
Ugh.
Um,
Ugh.
Yeah.
that sticks with me. So I'd have to go with Diath's first death.
Yeah, that's where like as soon as they throw the lever, it like smash cuts to black screens and like single
Yeah.
credits in the center.
Yeah,
Directed by Chris Perkins.
I think
I
that.
rewatched
yeah.
that recently, and some of that stuff, like everything that happened around that, is so different watching it now than how I experienced it then.
Yeah, as far as like impact, in terms of like after it happened, sort of feeling the ripples from the community. Simon's actually was, I think, had big ripples. People were horrified.
I
And
laughed.
you were like, "It's so fun," and all of us are like,
I was laughing, but for the record, it wasn't Dieth laughing at him being
Yes.
crushed. It was me laughing at seeing Anna and Nate. I'll be like, "Oh, this Robin." I'm just going.
Yeah.
rather than
We hate our
laughing at the
son.
actual death. Because Dieth himself, that was like a turning point for him. Jared was laughing.
Right. Yeah, it was. I love the ones that are so profound in a way that they kind of change the complexion of the party and the story going forward.
Yeah. I have a whole bunch of questions from the chat, so whenever you guys want one.
Oh, you can go again.
This one is a lighter one. For fan arting purposes, what tattoos do the characters have? What color is Paulton's hair now? I would extrapolate this to be like general appearance guidelines for the characters if we're canonical about it. Evelyn has white tattoos. Or not tattoos. They're not tattoos. They're markings. They're like, I imagine, because she had that engraving on her when she was a construct, so I imagine they're almost like...
almost like henna-like translations of her engravings.
Maybe henna
The Mario is covering Chris now.
What?
I hate it.
They covered the Mario with-
Please put the Marut away.
Nice. Leave it.
Yeah, so they're almost I imagine them being kind of raised, almost like a scar or like a brand or something, but like very I don't know, like maybe
Subtle.
henna like, but white anyway. But not necessarily in the exact configuration of what I had at the Stream of Many Eyes, because a lot of people have drawn it exact, and those were temporary tattoos I bought off Amazon. Like they're very pretty, but like interpret them as you think Evelyn would have.
You can have at it.
Yeah, she has like flora and suns and stuff like that. And then she doesn't have any other markings or anything different from her original description, other than that she has some like either golden pieces in her hair, or she has little like hair decorations that are gold and construct like that she either kept or like were just still there or something like that.
Maybe she just has gold highlights.
Yeah, something in her hair, I'm not sure. But other than that, she looks the same.
Yep. Paulton's hair is black.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Paulton's like it's just like disheveled. He's just like really like just I don't know. He's very just like
Kind of what he woke up with.
Yeah, pretty much.
A permanent reminder.
Yeah, right. I will. From what I've seen in the fan art, like I feel I envisioned it a little bit shorter than how a lot of people draw it. Like they draw it like going down to here, and like maybe like during Ring of Winter, like it was probably like that. But
I saw some Ring of Winter Paulton where it was like just full down
it was
rock
just, like,
star.
mop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, aside from that, it's pretty.
But canonically, once and for all, you're saying the Ring of Winter permanently changed his hair to black.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yes.
Dieth doesn't have any tattoos. I do imagine that he does have some kind of scarring over his body at some. I don't want to say anywhere specific. So for fan art purposes, if you want to show scars or anything on him, that's fine. I know a lot of people like drawing him with like a permanent rope burn around his neck.
That's right.
I love that. I also hate it.
I'm trying to think about. I mean, I can't imagine that Stray any money to get any tattoos. She doesn't know what money is. So I'm guessing she does have probably just some scars from adventuring and things like that. Probably when she was really young, living on the streets, like things wouldn't heal right or something like that. So like strange markings. But she does have like more grayish skin than I ever do in my cosplay, because I just don't want to do full body makeup because
I can imagine she's probably got some old like razor vine scars from when
Oh,
she was
totally.
like
Yeah.
climbing walls and sigil to
Absolutely.
get to escape people and things like that.
Absolutely, yeah, like things like that. So they wouldn't be like totally crazy, but she also has she has more grayish skin, and she has whitish freckles. She actually has white, almost like pale gray, like white freckles on her skin and on her face.
Almost looks like somebody sort of splashed her with a dash of ash.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. That's exactly it. But yeah, and I don't usually do like the more pallid gray color in my costume, because that's just so much work. So
Right. Yeah.
maybe one day, but yeah. So that's more in my head canonically. She kind of looks like that.
Are there more from other places? I can keep going.
You can keep going.
Yeah,
I
keep
think I'm
going.
pretty much tapped out of the basics from Twitter, so keep on going. We've got 5 minutes left. So,
so it's got to be a good one.
yeah.
Or lightning round.
How much of the
Okay.
story have I had to BS? That's a recurring question. There's, as typical with my games these days, I sort of prepare the first, 5 to 15 minutes, and then I just kind of let it move naturally. So I don't know, for instance, when or how an episode typically will end until like the last 5-10 minutes when I'm actually trying to think about how is this going to end, or how can I wrap this up, or when is a good time to stop.
So this one's kind of like just for fun. It's not a super deep feelsy one, but I think it's a fun one. Mangabent asks, Dice Camera Action is a live action movie. Which celebrity actors play your characters and NPCs?
Uh-huh.
There is an actress that I think looks exactly how I envision Evelyn. Her name is Sarah Jones. I have never watched anything she's in, but she is the random Google image search that I found for Evelyn's hair when I first started doing describing her, and I found out she was an actress. So she could play her for looks alone. Otherwise, I think like capability wise and like fit, I would pick Kristen Bell for Evelyn.
Mm.
Patrick Stewart. No, just kidding.
He can play all of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know enough celebrities to play Strix. So take your pick. There's a lot of makeup going on, so someone who wants to deal with that.
Yeah, I don't really know actors. I feel
Yeah, I
bad.
don't either.
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, there you go.
Little fourth wall
Perfect.
breaking expertise.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If you have Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, you could put Chris Evans in as Dia for the like straight man.
Ooh.
Can I please be Chris Evans?
what I'm
Oh
saying.
my God.
That's what I'm saying.
Hereby the best Chris.
I don't know, like maybe an Anna Kendrick for Strix.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
I don't know who that is,
Right?
but sure.
No, Aubrey Plaza. Someone said in the chat.
Ooh,
That's
Aubrey
a good
Plaza.
answer
Oh.
too.
One.
Yep.
I don't know who that is. I'm just
She's
fine.
like kind of dry though, so that she needs to be. I mean, she could pull it off though. But anyway, yeah.
She's the mean-looking girl from Parks and Rec.
Oh, I kind of know who that is.
Okay.
There's no dragons in that.
I'll pick a last question if we don't have any other ones.
Yeah,
Okay,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
What do you want people to learn from Dice Camera Action?
I know that their friends are the family that they choose. That your friends are super important and your friends are family. Yay.
Escapism. Escapism is key to holding on to your sanity in the face of any conflict.
I would say that in terms of Dungeons and Dragons, you don't need the biggest numbers and highest damage to have a good time.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Min-maxing can sometimes leech some of the most fun out of a game.
Yeah, like you're trying to play a story, and the moment you start trying to play it like a video game, I mean, it depends on the person, but I don't like that, and I think it's more fun when things go poorly. Like sometimes like having a bad roll is better.
Or making a bad choice is better.
Yeah, like it's not the best choice to do. If you try to game theory it, you're going to ruin it. Just go with the bad choice.
Yep.
I didn't have a great answer for my own question. I think maybe that being exactly who they are, being exactly who you are, even if it's scary, pays off in huge dividends. I think, and that goes with our characters in that all of them are super flawed, and the things that the characters love about each other and that we love about the characters are largely related to those flaws and how they either overcome them or live in them and do their best despite them. And I think that relates to kind of our fandom, where it's like we have so many people creatively contributing, and a lot of times see people being like, oh, this isn't my best work, or like, I wish I was better at this. But the whole community comes around them and says like, this is mind blowing. I love it so much. I love that you shared this with us. It's so important. It edifies me. So I think it's something around that, wanting to know that like there are safe places to share yourself, and that yourself exactly how it is doesn't need to be changed or be perfect in order to be shared.
That's good. As a DM, I think on just sort of a meta level outside of, when telling stories, I think it's to keep the game going and to keep it interesting for people. It's got to have highs and lows, happiness and trauma. It's all got to sort of move up and down and keep sort of changing moment to moment, to be surprising, shocking, to keep people wondering where it's going to go next. I think that changing up the tone and having light, easy moments, and then intense, I don't know where this is going to go, but my God, it's scaring the hell out of me moments. I think varying it up and keeping, even within an episode, going from very, very light to very, very intense is a good way to keep everybody on board and to keep them excited and pumped for, future story stuff.
Yeah, I've had fans personally thank me for playing Dieth as a sometimes emotional wreck who doesn't always do things right, and they like really identify with that, and they show that through Dieth they can see that even in spite of that they too can still do great things and they are valued by others.
Yeah, and you can still be a hero if you have anxiety when it comes to Strix.
So from the chat, the Travis
Nate didn't
McElroy
go.
asks.
Oh, the Travis McElroy.
Yeah, Nate didn't go.
They didn't go.
Do you want
There-
to have anything to
Right,
add?
Travis.
Oh, wait. Hold on,
there's
Nathan.
there's nothing I can add that wasn't said at this
Oh, okay.
point.
All right.
So yes.
Last question. The Travis McElroy asks, in your top 5 list of Travis McElroys, which Travis McElroy is your favorite Travis McElroy?
The one,
Oh my-
the only Travis McElroy.
I would go with Travis McElroy.
Tava Makara.
Yes.
Mern.
Yes, who can't come back soon enough.
Yeah.
And so Maka.
Kapaka.
So we should tell people what the fuck is up with that.
Oh my gosh,
Sure.
can I tell the story?
Yes.
Or Nate should tell the story.
No, you tell, please.
So Nate, if you guys don't know, is something of a meme lord, and he educates us all. And there was a certain meme that involved umlauts and the word brother with an umlaut, and all of us just started saying brother to each other, and then other words adding umlauts and weird, slightly Swedish sounds to them, to the point where you like actually couldn't really understand what we were saying. And we were sitting at a table, the 4 of us, and then Chris Perkins right here, and all of us are like, brother, me, across the table each other. And Chris is just like,
We like weren't even drunk. We were like sober.
Yeah.
and but as soon as Nate taught him the ways of the umlaut and of just completely busting up words with your keyboard on your phone, Chris has finally surpassed us all and led us
Right. Yes.
led us into the promised land.
So I went from
messing
your
up
very
words.
sort of confused, befuddled dad figure to your sort of deformed, shameful cousin.
It was all weekend too. Like
Yeah.
it was to where I heard Chris using it when he wasn't talking.
Yeah.
It's like, because like he's saying all this and he's like saying all these, we're like, brother, heave these, and like around us. But then like at one point during Stream Many Eyes, I was walking by and you were talking to somebody else, and then he was just like, all right, Chris, I'll see you out there. And Chris just goes, excellent. Not knowing I was anywhere near him, I'm just like, oh my God.
He got stuck.
Yeah, I got stuck. Yeah.
And then it morphed into not just like the weird kind of Swedish sounds, but just like
Just
deformed
removing
words.
consonants.
And then
Slurring
when he
everything
introduced us,
together.
it was like John So, and you know, there were conversations about Dwayne the Rock Johnson that we don't need to repeat, and it was just we have a really fun time together.
Yeah.
Is the point?
Yeah,
So,
we have a great time.
Yeah. No alcohol required.
no.
No.
Anyway, so
All right.
that wraps our show.
There goes the chat. Excellent. Beauty.
Excellent. So in this weekend, July 14th, July 15th. So on July 14th, we're going to have 4 back-to-back games where Jerry and I are basically juggling in and out, and groups are juggling in and out. And that will take us from 11:30 to 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. And then we're back on Sunday for a 2DM, 8-player, everybody together in the same game in the same moment extravaganza from 2:30 to 5:30 Pacific Standard Time in the afternoon. And then at the end of that, that will basically be our episode 100 crossover wrap. And we go on with our regularly scheduled lives. So please, if you can, join us, watch us as we have fun with the C Team. It's going to be a hoot.
You have to come on by and watch just to see what crazy configurations all the players will be in.
Right, yes. And the interesting pairings and the shenanigans that will ensue once the characters come in contact with our plot. Which will take place, I believe, it'll sort of flip back and forth between Red Lark and Richard Deep.
And for the record, it'll be streamed on both twitch.tv/D&D
Yes.
and twitch.tv/Penny Arcade.
Correct.
So you'll be able to watch from either or.
And one of
I
our
think it's switching back and forth between the two.
yes, yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, it's not at the same time.
Okay.
Right, but you'll be able to watch it on either.
Right, they'll be hosted.
It'll
On
be
the-
like
They'll be
hosted,
hosted,
yeah.
so it doesn't matter which channel you're on. You'll be able to watch it. Yep. And thanks to one member of our community, we have a great opener.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
That's
yeah,
right.
it was awesome.
Yeah, it's so good.
An opener.
Opener.
See, this is why we shouldn't bring this up because
Right.
it just doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop.
This is why we should bring it up.
This is
more.
a problem. Anybody
Stop
got
and-
any other announcements they
stop
want to
and-
make before we break for the week?
I won't be here for next Tuesday's episode if we do
If we
one
have it, yeah.
because I'll be flying to England for CoxCon.
Right.
July 21st and 22nd in Telford, England. You can get more information there.
Will you be
at-
back the following week then?
Yes, I will
Okay.
be back for the following. I might be extremely jet lagged, but
right.
I will do the show.
All right. And it's possible we might be so blasted at the end of this weekend that next week's game might not happen, but we'll be sure to let everybody know.
Yeah, so if you're in England, want to come on by coxcon.co.uk for more information. Telford, England. I would love to see you there.
By the way, Milo will probably be putting in an appearance sometime during the weekend festivities, so I'm bringing him along.
Yay.
So
Yay.
Ooh.
Milo.
I'm so excited.
For me, I have the thing I've been plugging, which is upcoming tour, which
Tours.
is my headliner, the tour, Paid Exposure Tour with myself and Zach Callison. We're in August. We're hitting Nashville, Detroit, Chicago, Burnsville, Denver, Seattle, and Portland. You can get tickets at NateWantsToBattle.com. And then also, for those of you who don't know, I'm in another D&D show on Mondays called Dark and Dicey. And if you watch the episode from yesterday, which is up on YouTube, you can actually watch me impromptu DM for the first time. And it was a lot of
an
fun.
appearance by a beloved character.
Who could it have been?
Coovent.
all right. Then that's it. We're up. We're done. We're out of here. Bye, everybody.
See you guys this weekend.
Yeah. Woo!
Yeet!